Greetings guys, welcome back. I also got another question. The question wanted me to answer this is the 3.2.2. How long in days will it take to sell the closing stock? Alright, so I'm going to do that, but before I do that, let me just answer 3.2.1 here so that I can also do that as we are going. Alright, so in order to answer 3.2.1, calculate the value of closing stock using the weighted average method. So remember what we do with the weighted average method. It has to be your rands over your units. Okay, let me just see if I can draw a straight line there. It has to be a rands over your units. Your rands here and your units at the bottom. So it's going to be your opening stock, which is going to be 124,500, and the units is 240. Opening stock plus purchases. Your purchases, it is 1,813,000, and here is 3,150. Opening stock plus purchases, and then there are returns. There are returns. As you can see here, there is returns, and it's 79,300. 79.3. Okay, and then the number in terms of units is 130. 130. All right, so in this case there was no mention of carriage. We would have added the carriage in the event that it was given. Carriage customs duty, we would have to add it, and then once you get this, then you multiply this by your number of units at the end, which is given here, 380. So you multiply that by 380. Once you punch that in your calculator, you should get your 216,600. I believe this is the NSC November 2019. I think it's November 2019 paper, the extract that I have here with me. All right, so after that question, let's go and see. It then says calculate the gross profit. Gross profit. So it becomes easy now. All right, if you're to calculate gross profit, let's quickly see how we could do that. So maybe if you would want, you can start by getting your cost of sales. Already we had some calculations that we had done. When you take your 1 million, your 124,500 plus your 1,813,000, and then you add your 79,300. If you had already done that, it was going to give you an amount which is 1,858,200. 1,858,200. So you simply take that one then and subtract your closing stock, 116,600. Once you do that, then you are now getting your cost of sales, all right, which is going to be your 1,641,600. 1,641,600. That becomes your cost of sales. So you can then take your sales. Remember, your sales is given here now, which is 2,764,800 minus 1,641,600. It will then give you your gross profit, which in this case will be 1,123,200. Okay, I hope that will make sense. Okay, let's quickly move on to the question that was demanded for me to answer. It says calculate how long in days it would take to sell the closing stock. Calculate how long in days it would take to sell the closing stock. All right, so I'm gonna use first the rand values. I'm going to use the rand values. So I'm going to take the closing stock. I'm going to say how many it takes to sell this closing stock. So the closing stock is 216,600, and then you divide it therefore by your cost of sales, how much you have sold. that is 1,641,600, and you multiply it by 365 days. All right, and then it will give you 48,2 days. The other way is for you to use now your units. All right, so you say how many units is your closing stock? It is 380. Your closing stock is 380. Then you'd want to say how many units have you sold this year? How many units have you sold this year? They told you here sales 2,880 units. You divide that by 2,880 units, multiply by 365 days. So in simple words, what this method is simply saying is, in 365 days, you have sold 2,880 units. So this is your have. Now what you want is to know how many can you sell in 380 days. So that's the question, in 380 days. So you simply say now what you want, which is 380, over what you have, which is 2,880, multiplied by you have in days. It will now give you what you want in days. This is the simplest way you can understand this particular question. All right, so if you have more questions, dear learners, please keep them coming in. As soon as I get time, I'll quickly respond to them. All right, I know you're practicing. Please keep pushing.